Hi guys, thank you so much for being here. Once again, thank you for being my patrons and keeping my channel going. Seriously, you have no idea how much your support means to me, and I'm just so happy to have this community and have you guys backing me. I love it. You guys seriously keep my channel going, and I'm not just saying that, I truly mean it. Today I have a different video for you guys, which is not expected. I actually already recorded this, but the files had issues, but I'm gonna do it again. Usually I take that as a sign not to do this video, but I did bring it up on Discord that I had this idea to share something with you guys, and you guys jumped on it straight away and were really excited about this idea, so it's a little bit petty, but it's all in good fun, and I'm not taking any of this seriously. I actually was not gonna record today. My hair is frizzy, it's a lot, but I think it's good to jump in here now before this story, like there's any more time given in the situation, because I think by tomorrow I'll just be like so over the situation and not want to talk about it, or not really like it's like a huge drama, but I feel like I just will be over it and I don't think it's video worthy. But I do think there's two messages within this video that I think are very important, and I'm going to try and stay as concise as possible, because I do believe in my last video I was just ranting and raving for a bit, but I do want to just like keep in mind these two things and take them away from the story. I always think when something weird happens or negative happens, if you can take something out of the situation, it definitely makes it worthwhile. Before we get started, there is something I really wanted to mention to you guys, because this is technically drama. There's screenshots involved. Number one, obviously, again, I want to say, don't take this too seriously. It's just a weird situation. It's nothing too serious, and I don't take it too seriously. But number two, I do want to also say a reason that I like talking to you guys about this kind of stuff is because I'm navigating this alone. Like, my platform, that is something that I've, slowly built up. Every time there's a situation like this, it's the first time I've encountered it, and because there's no one else that I know in real life that is dealing with a similar situation, it's very strange, and I don't really have anyone to like have that conversation with and go back and forth about it. So I really like that I'm able to have a conversation with you guys, and we have such a good friendship. A lot of us are actual friends, so I like that, and I like that I'm able to share stuff with you guys. But I do want to say I am open if at any time you guys feel like I shouldn't be sharing something, or if it's too much. I really do want to have conversations with you along the way. I feel like, like there's more and more drama going on in the world, and let's not get into it, but online, especially on YouTube, and I never want you guys to think that I'm taking advantage or anything like that, and it's hard because I have become such good friends with you guys that, yeah, I just don't want there to be a weird line in between us at the same time, but at the same time, I don't want you guys to think that I'm trying to make you feel or think any certain way. I hope that makes sense. It probably makes sense to some of you guys, but I just want to say I'm always here if you ever want to reach out, but I love having an open and honest relationship with you guys. But if you ever think I'm oversharing in any capacity, please let me know. Poor Vicky. Vicky, if you're watching this, every time I jump onto Skype, I'm always like, this happened and this happened, and I feel like I feel embarrassed afterwards, because sometimes I'm just saying it because I don't have anyone to relate to in real life. So Vicky, if you're watching this, I do apologize if I ever come off as, I don't know, just talking about things online to you a lot, or talking about things with YouTube. It's just I have no one else to talk to about it except for, patrons and, people like Vicky who I trust. And yeah, it's a weird world, and I just hope by airing out my thoughts and things that happen to me, or just like little situations I come by along the way, because there's no textbook for this kind of stuff, it's a healthy way of airing it out, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. But let's jump into the messages. This all stems from, on Friday I received a DM on Instagram. I would say I received like several, I don't know, like across probably all my platforms, maybe like 10 to 20 DMs a day from people I've never spoken to before in my life, which is very important to take this into consideration. There's two like main messages I want to take out of this, and the first one is a lot of people who haven't spoken to you before, if you have any platform or, I don't know, media, I don't know. Again, this isn't textbook, but and I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of people message me out of the blue, expecting me to know what they're talking about. Like mid-sentence they'll message me saying, hey, like, or not even hey, they'll just say, this movie is better than this movie, or you should watch this movie. And it's not like a normal interaction you have with someone where they say, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. I watched your video on this. I thought this. Like, I don't get that a lot. And I feel like that's something that we all need to take into consideration sometimes, having a platform or having, I don't know, whatever, putting your content out there. It's a very one-sided thing where you're having a conversation with someone, but they're not, you know, you don't know that they're watching back. And you should never assume that everyone is watching, the whole world's watching. But that's where we'll start this conversation, and I think that's a big point to start the conversation on. So, an actor messaged me on Friday. I saw the blue tick in their name, and I was very intrigued. After, you know, seeing this message, this first message, I went and, you know, clicked on their profile and saw who they were. I did recognize them straight away, but I don't know their names, and I never knew their name. So I want to make that clear that I'm not a fan of this person. I never had this person like up on the wall or anything. This person is not a household name. They are an actor who was in some films that I've watched. So this is the first message and you guys are going to die. I was only in the girl from the photographs to meet Wes Craven between us. It's not between us anymore, but we'll get to why, because there's a lot to this message. Why I'm hardly in it. I think that means why. That's why I'm hardly in it. I'm randomly watching your recommendations. Not really into found footage. I said, haha, thanks. That's a very old video. So my thanks is them watching my recommendations. Keep that in mind. I'm a horror fanatic, but everyone I've been in is horrific. Go figure, ha. I hearted the comment because I've already said something to them and they're just kind of speaking at me and they're not really giving me anything back to work from. It's not really a conversation at this point where he's just saying random statements to me. I did watch Ready or Not last night. Awesome. Which I agree. I said, yeah, it's a good movie. That was Saturday at 10:45, let's just say. And then yesterday, so Sunday at 12, he messaged me again. Because I kind of dead-ended that conversation. Because he's not having a conversation. Well, it's not a conversation. This is my point. He's kind of just like saying things at me. He said, wait, I know what you did last month, but you chose 2 over Scream 2 for 97, which means that he watched my 90s video. Like best of 90s. He said, watching What Keeps You Alive later, which is a Saturday. Watching What Keeps You Alive later, which is a Saturday. Okay, some of this does not make sense and I want to make that clear, and I mean, I'm the last person to comment on anyone's grammar or on anyone's spelling, but some of this does not make sense. So everything writing on it, so I think he's pretty much saying like, I'm gonna watch What Keeps You Alive. I said, wow, you sound like everyone in my comments, haha. Yeah, just my opinion, not really a debate, I just like what I like. This is what I'm talking about, Scream, and this is what I mean, like, a lot of people just comment to me, like, or, you know, DM me out of the blue telling me their thoughts and how I'm like, how did you choose this over this? And you guys know how I feel about that. It's a bit annoying. But I'm not being mean. I'm saying, wow, like, you sound like everyone in my comments, ha ha ha. Yeah, it's just my opinion, not really a debate. Like, I'm not asking for a debate and I'm not looking to debate with you about my opinion, to be honest. He said, I was only joking due to you stating it a lot. Sorry, I'm English, so I don't have a sarcastic font. I'm like, dude, I'm laughing back. I don't know. He then went on to say, I don't read comments because I still remember beepers. And does he mean pages? Does he mean he's old? He's not that old. I'll let you know. I think he's around the same age as me, probably, if not like 5 years older. He said, and I get weird comments. I said, I'm Australian, haha, we are just as sarcastic. Where do you get comments, social media? See how I'm asking him? I'm trying to engage in a conversation because so far he's only just like made statements to me. He said, social media, yeah, for sure. Also, being an actor, people can love you or not, or impressively both. Why I don't watch anything I'm in. I think that's what he means, is that's why I don't watch anything I'm in. First film I did was called, I blanked this because I've done a review on this and it's a rant. It's a bad movie. And I watched it in the cinema, making another, and it was awful. So never again. So never have I done that again. I actually don't know how I landed on your channel, by the way. So this is very interesting because, once again, this is a blue tick person. I want you to keep this in mind as we're reading the conversation. Out of nowhere, just starts like messaging me like his random thoughts. I don't know what he's like assuming, but this is not really a conversation. I'm kind of asking questions and he's saying, I don't know how I landed on your channel. And I'm like, okay, like, I said, haha, I saw that one, yikes, which is about the movie that he mentioned. It was really bad. I said, your guess is as good as mine. That's a response to him finding my channel. And I said, you in any horror coming up? The reason I said this is because this conversation is just so random, and I don't know if he thinks, I don't know what he thinks. It's just a very random conversation, and if I had this conversation with anyone else, I would be wondering where it was going as well. And I thought, hey, this is a good opportunity. If he wants to talk to me about horror, at least I can ask him, like, if he's got anything going on. But his response is very interesting for this. He says, no way, huh? Every actor has to do them. They make 300 of them a year, and a gig's a gig at times. That's saying horror is not his ideal genre. It's saying a gig's a gig. It's saying that he just does it to make money. They make 300 of them a year, like... Anyway, it gets worse. He says, though with streaming, I know that I'm like buying into this, and it's because I'm analyzing it for the sake of this video, but also reflecting on this, and after I read it for when I recorded this video before, I realized a lot of what he's saying is actually kind of rude. Why would you message someone who's a horror content creator out of the blue and then make fun of horror as a genre? And I'll get into it. He said, though with streaming and the genre changing with films like Us, etc., which is like, you know, like Us, like Jordan Peele's Us, it's becoming pretty exciting. I did read for Jordan Peele horror type show a few months ago, which I would do absolutely. So did he read for Jordan Peele? For a TV show by Jordan Peele? Or did he read for a Jordan Peele horror type show? So does that mean that it's a Jordan Peele type? So what is a Jordan Peele type, sir? What are you trying to say? Because I don't want to reach, but that sounds like a little bit like he's stereotyping the kind of films that Jordan Peele does. I don't know, like you guys tell me what you think about that, but that actually was a little bit sketch, because I'm like, well, was it Jordan Peele or wasn't it? Because if you're going to name drop, tell, like, just say what TV show it was. I'm sure we would find out. Like, he's doing a couple of TV shows at the moment. What does he mean by Jordan Peele type? Because Get Out and Us and Twilight Zone are very different films. He said, when did you start this channel? Which was nice, because it was the first time he's asked me a question. And then he says, wait, I did blank. I'm not mentioning this movie because it is such a good film, number one. And you can, if you link these 3 films together, you can tell who it is, and I just thought the first film was the most important for you guys to know. He said, wait, I did blank, though it's not horror. For me, it's labeled under horror, so that makes it up, which it's a great film. I said, blank is amazing, one of my faves. I've been doing it for 5 years. I hosted a premiere this year, which was cool, but it's just a cool side job for me. He said, hosted, question mark. This was at 12 a.m., so like midnight for me. 8 hours later, he keeps talking without my response, mind you. He said, and found footage, see how this is out of nowhere? He's just asked me if I've hosted an event, what hosted means. And then out of nowhere, he goes, and found footage are the hardest films to make. I've only done one, and people don't realize the actors are really filming. Then a real cameraman comes in and cleans scenes up, but you are filming with no prior experience while also acting in the scene. Looks easy, but hard. Like, where did that come from, right? Like, he's just having random thoughts. So this is a random guy I've never spoken to before who's just coming into my DMs and just giving me, like, all of these random thoughts. I said, I'm not saying it's easy at all. Like, I don't know why. He's like, they're not easy. I said, I've done 5 years of film schooling, worked as a videographer for 10 years. I know they make it look easy, haha. Yeah, Universal had me host a premiere for The Invisible Man this year. He says, no, I mean, audience bash them as a lowest denominator of horror, which I get, but it's funny, they don't know how they're the hardest to pull off. Each one has a budget for really only one proper full-out scare scene, huh? Liked that movie, really good I thought, which is about The Invisible Man. He said, you seem a bit defensive. Guess peeps must really lay in their comments. I think he means like lay into you in your comments, which, would you say that's defensive? We'll get into it, but where I'm angling with this is, I feel like me just having a conversation back to him where he's talking to me out of the blue about something that I have no idea. He's not even referencing what video he's talking about. And I'm sorry, I don't expect every single person who messages me I don't expect them to all be subscribers. I don't expect them to have seen every single video by me. So I don't know where he's coming from at all. I don't expect, just like you guys, if you guys say, oh, you know, have you seen this movie? I sometimes say, oh, I've reviewed it. I don't expect you to know every single thing that I've ever said about a film. So when he, out of the blue, comes to me and says, oh, well, people think this and this and this about found footage, I'm like, do you think I think that? Like, I don't, why are you saying this to me? Like, why are you just giving me your random thoughts? Like, I'm a person on the internet and you need to just talk to me like I'm a person that you don't know. Anyway, he says, you seem a bit defensive, you know. Anyway, so I say, I was going to say you seem defensive, because he just started defending found footage. I said, haha, I never said found footage was easy. I think we got our wires crossed. Lots of people message me out of the blue halfway through a conversation from watching an old video of me without starting off the conversation like you normally would with a stranger. So it's hard to know where you're coming from. You can see that you've done this. When he messaged me at the start, he said out of nowhere, never heard of him, I didn't know his name, said to me, hey, not even hey, he said, I was only in this movie because of Wes Craven. Like, okay, like that is not a conversation starter. That's not a conversation. That is a statement to a random person. I said, so it's hard to know where they're coming from. You can see that you've done this. I think probably off a video from 3 or 4 years ago, so it's very out of the blue for me. There's nothing I'm defending. It's just out of the blue and I wasn't sure what point you were making. I'm just chatting along. You started a sentence about a movie without an introduction or anything. And then he says, it's faux about Screen 2. I don't know what that's meant to mean, but I'm probably just not picking that right. He said, just speaking horror fan to another and actually complimenting your channel, but okay, good luck with it all, which that does sound sarcastic. It's not like he's like, but okay, good luck with it all. I'm sorry, when did he compliment me throughout this whole conversation? Do you guys know when it was? And there's a point to this. He thinks, and you'll see why, but he thinks him just simply speaking to me, knowing I exist, is a compliment. He thinks because he has a blue tick, because he's an actor, him simply messaging me is a compliment. And this is where I feel like he thinks I'm being defensive. It's because I'm not bowing down and going, oh my God, he, like a guy from a movie messaged me. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna ass kiss you. If anyone messages me, I'm gonna have a conversation with them, and I do all the time, but sometimes conversations naturally come to the end, and I don't force the conversation, and I don't think that person on the other side should force the conversation. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Also, this is not a conversation. Also, like, I don't understand what he wants from me. He's just messaging me randomly about his thoughts about found footage and stuff, but he's not actually having a conversation with me. He's having a one-sided conversation with himself. Anyway, and he goes on and says, and I only mentioned found footage because you defend it a lot. Was agreeing is all. Anyway, never mind, but thanks. Never mind, but thanks. What? Never mind what? Never mind what? But thanks for the gems I hadn't seen. You've got to say, hey, I see that you're mentioning found footage a lot. These are my thoughts. Like, how do people not know how to talk to each other? It's so crazy. I know I'm silly on social media and I joke around a lot on the Discord, but I feel like you guys get my personality now, and we have a rapport, we have a friendship. We also have like a past, and we have like in-jokes. When I have never spoken to someone in my life, don't come into my DMs and then be like, well, you once said this one thing about this in a video, so you're meant to remember it every time someone brings it up. It's very weird. I said, hey, not a problem at all. I was just saying, why it might seem that I'm being defensive. I'm really just talking back to the info that you've given me. I don't see any compliments that you wrote about my channel, but I appreciate it, smiling face. It's true though, he didn't compliment my channel once, and then he's trying to make me feel bad for saying what? Why is he trying to make me feel bad? Does anyone know why? I said, no problem. That's about the hidden gems he mentioned. Again, you brought up found footage without me saying anything. This makes sense now because you were bouncing off something I'd said in a video, but out of the blue, I'm not sure where that's coming from. I also agreed though, not sure what response you wanted. I did agree with him. I said, yeah, found footage is hard. No, I understand. Found footage is hard. I don't understand what he wants me to say. I said, I hope you have a good day. This is the messages that like really led me to the next 4 messages. I stopped responding after that because I don't know if he wanted me to be so excited by someone with a blue tick talking to me, someone who was an actor in some of the films I spoke about talking to me. I have been blown away by some messages from people that I respect, people that I admire, you know, like big actors, directors, producers that have contacted me, and none of them have spoken to me in this way. None of them have assumed that I'm gonna be like, oh my God, you know, I don't know. There's just like such a weird sense about this. I don't know if you guys are picking it up or if it's just on my side. Definitely let me know. But this is the messages that really weirded me out. He said, well, that's my bad. I've always had a mutual understanding with anyone on any platform on social media addressing them, as in you already know, people assume they know you without knowing anything about you. Number one, what are you saying? I don't understand how he said always had mutual understanding with anyone on platform on social media addressing. What do you mean mutual understanding? Do you understand that everyone who talks to you on social media is a completely different person and you don't have any mutual understanding? There's no rules to social media, so there's social etiquette, and I think that's what you're missing in this point. But of course, like anyone who messages me on social media out of the blue, I do have an understanding that they probably know who I am, and that's why they're messaging me. But I do not assume that they know everything about me, nor that they know everything, all of my thoughts, or everything I've ever said about found footage horror or whatever horror. Again, I have 500 videos, and I do not expect anyone who gets in a conversation with me to know every single thought I've ever had. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't get in a conversation with me. Number one, because I'm crazy. Number two, because like, why would you need to talk to me if you already know all my thoughts on everything ever? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to assume just because you're talking to me that you know every single thing about me and you're my number one fan or anything like that. And I think it's very rude if someone was to engage with me in a conversation and me to expect what they're saying is a complete reaction of something I've said 4 years ago. I don't believe that. I think that's very rude, and it's different to be like, oh, you know, I've said this before in a video, and someone said, oh no, I've seen that video. You just gotta have a fucking conversation with people. Like, this is why this whole messaging thing is so weird, because not once does he even have like an introduction or relate to what he's saying. Oh, I'm watching this video. He never even says, I'm watching your 90s video. He just says, for 97, you should have done this. Like, you need to like give context to a situation. I don't know where his state of mind is at the moment. I don't know if he's like haphazardly like messaging me while he's doing other things, or if he's like drunk at the club, like because they don't really make any sense, and he has no context to the situation. But because of who he is, I personally feel like, allegedly, because of who he is, he thinks that I am just going to go along with everything he says and not like challenge what he's saying or ask context of the situation. Anyway, and he's getting mad when I'm asking for context, which is like the most bizarre thing. Anyway, here we go. You ready, guys? He says, if an actor or someone doing something reaches out to me, I already take it as a compliment, them reaching out to me. So yes, I didn't realize we had our wires crossed. And there you go, guys. He thinks because he particularly reached out to me, that is a compliment in itself. And that's why I was like, whoa, this guy's fucking rude, to be honest. Or just weird. Like, he believes him reaching out to me is the biggest compliment. And I did say thanks at the start, haha, thanks. And I do thank a lot of people who reach out to me. Straight off the bat, I say thanks for watching, you know. But I don't know if he expected me to like fall down the stairs in like, oh my God. I don't know if he expected me to like just lose my shit, think that it was so amazing, and yeah, I don't know what he expected. But I'm gonna treat you like I treat any viewer, anyone who's subscribed, anyone who's not subscribed, anyone who's asking a question. Unless I didn't even know like who your name was compared to like your face, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say you're not a big deal or like you don't have fans and you're not valid. I'm just saying, to me, you're another person, and I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna talk to you like another person, and I hope you talk to me like another person, and I hope you don't assume that I'm just gonna be like so wowed that you even like spoke to me. Yikes. He said I wasn't reaching out as a subscriber, but as someone who actually does this, saying, hey, seen your channel. Okay, and I said thank you. He expected me to go along with him every step of the way, and when I tried to have a conversation back to him, he said I was being defensive. I don't know. I think it's like a bit rude. He said, like I would about an actor about seeing their film. Didn't think you think I was from a diff place. So I didn't get your response, but all good. What did you want me to respond by? Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so flattered that you said that you wanted to be in a film because of Wes Craven. Like, what? You didn't even compliment me. It'd be different if you did. I would be like, wow, that's really nice, thank you. But you didn't. And you simply commenting on my video is, sorry. Like, I mean, I do take that as a compliment. I take every view as a compliment. But I already said thank you. Like, what more do you want from me? So, and then he says, just in the future, if an actor does say anything, it's not like people message them about now, about some part you did and you have no idea what they're talking about. That's the part on the same page thing goes. I'll repeat that. Just in the future, if an actor does say anything, it's not like people message them about now, about some part you did, and you have no idea what they're talking about. That part goes on the same page. Wait, that part on same page thing goes. I think he means just in the future, if an actor does say anything, I don't know what he's saying, to be honest. I think he's trying to say, I understand the same thing happens to me where actors message me out of the blue. But to be honest, I've got over 500 videos, and in 500 videos, I'm very passionate about 500 topics, and there's no way I'm ever going to know every single thing that people are taking out of every single video, or I'm going to be able to recall every single fact when people talk to me. It's just a context thing. If I met you on the street, I'd say, hey, I really didn't like you in the girl in the photographs. You know, like, I would still say, like, Brad Pitt loved you in Meet Joe Black. I love that part where you like that part. I mean, people probably do that in the streets, but I don't know, in the DMs, if I ask you where you're coming from, we can have a conversation about it. All in all, I just want to wrap up this video with saying, like, the two messages that this video was meant to represent. I did get a little bit lost in the middle there. Hopefully you guys understood what I was trying to say. Number one, I think it's important to give context to all situations. If you're going to talk to someone randomly on the internet, introduce yourself. Explain where your comment is coming from, and don't just assume people know what you're talking about. And that's not just to, you know, talking to someone who's on YouTube or talking to an actor. That's talking to anyone. Like, you just have to have context, and remember, like, wires can get crossed on the internet. Like, a lot of people speak a certain way and type another way. A lot of people speak different languages, and I don't mean that like actual languages. I mean just speak in a different way. And it does take a while to kind of get used to that, especially if you've never spoken to that person before. So you've got to keep that all in mind when you talk to someone out of the blue. But number two, the biggest thing is, oh my God, some people who slide into the DMs expect, I don't know what they expect. We still don't know what he expected, but I thought he was quite rude, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. I just think it was a good example of someone expecting people to just bow down for no reason. Like, you've never shown interest in me. I didn't know your name beforehand. I don't owe you anything, and you don't owe me anything. So don't expect me to be over the, I mean, I said thank you. I don't know what else this guy wanted. But it does really show, and I've had this before with other people, it does really show the ego that's around these people from Hollywood. Although I think he's British, he was saying, but see, I don't even know what country he's from. It just shows the ego that some people have, and I hope, I hope we can learn something from that conversation. It was very strange, because he just messaged me and he just kept messaging me, and I wasn't really like fully engaging in it. As you could see, I took like 8-hour breaks between it. Even when I saw the message for the first time, I don't even know if he messaged me on the Friday. It might have been on the Thursday or the Wednesday. I didn't know what to respond, because it wasn't a hey, how you going? And I love those messages that are like, hey, like, my name's da-da-da, like, I really enjoy your video. I love those messages. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I'm all about context to a situation. I don't think any two situations are the same, and I think context really matters in these situations. Have you guys had any weird circumstances like this? I'd love to know if you've had some weird conversations online. I felt like that one went south. Like, he was almost trying to end it on his note, like, okay, well, good luck. yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't take this too seriously. I just thought it was something weird that happened on the internet, and because I'm doing this alone and I'm going through this weirdness of having this small channel online, I don't really have much people to bounce this back and forth, and so it's fun to share these kind of like, you know, sneaking into the DM kind of stories with you guys. And that's why I've done one before about YouTubers I've spoken to. I think that I'm such a fan as well. Like, I'm such a viewer, just like you guys. We're all involved in the same kind of community and the same kind of like online space. So it's really cool to see it from different people's perspectives. I'd love to hear your stories and tell me what the fuck you thought it was on and talking about. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I did have a video that was me trying to pronounce names for 3 minutes straight that was meant to go out this week. It will go out next week or the week after, but I just wanted to say that's still coming. See, I can make fun of myself, and I think that's the difference. Online, people take sometimes what I say so seriously, and they expect me to be so bubbly, and I don't know, I'm just a normal person, and you just got to give me like context and introduction, and just, you wouldn't go into a shopping center and go right up to someone you recognize from online and say, I was only in this movie because I wanted to meet Wes Craven. Just got to approach people with fucking kindness and normalcy. Like, I know we're not all normal here, but I think that there's a lot to say for just being, having a normal conversation and introducing yourself. Apparently he thinks he's above that. That is the message to the story. He thinks he's above it, and let's be mindful in the future, all of us, including me, to make sure we introduce ourselves. I hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know what you think. I can't wait to read your comments. I'm going to get this up straight away so I can read them. I'm very excited. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Thank you so much for supporting me. Bye.